So when you talk to poor women and you ask them what they want, they will tell you exactly what they want. They want change in their lives.
Housing for many in the world is not a simple matter. Over 1.5 billion people, about 1/4 of the world's urban population, live in informal settlements. Those who live informally live in substandard houses with fewer basic amenities. Historically, public and private investment have woefully failed to deliver decent homes to these communities. Climate change impacts are making matters worse.
We are now facing roofs that fly away because they are too fragile. We are dealing with volume of water through unplanned rainy days.
Climate change impacts people differently. Poor people in general that contribute least to climate change, but are impacted the most.
Evictions and demolitions are on the rise too. But communities in informal settlements are recognizing opportunities and taking action by developing unique and unusual partnerships. The Roof Over Our Heads initiative, created by Slum Dwellers International, is a women-centric partnership that works from the grassroots level on up.
The imagery of a roof over our head represents security. The campaign of Roof Over Our Heads seeks to help us sharpen and deepen what we need, what we can do ourselves, and then engage our cities in finding a long-term sustainable solution. But I think what is really unique and special about our movement, that it is centered around women's collectives. The second thing is a transformation in a belief that you are not a useless, empty vessel just because you're 60 years old and you can't read and write.
The Roof Over Our Heads strategy is to further empower and acknowledge women as the change makers in their informal settlement communities.
We have been able to build credibility so that government officials in our countries now talk to us. We collect data about ourselves to challenge government statistics about informality.
Recognizing that climate change is an immediate problem, Roof Over Our Heads works with informal settlements to develop climate-resilient housing that allows communities to adapt to environmental stresses. Heat stress is a major issue, and it is only going to get worse. The Mahila Housing Trust in India educates women to prepare their own action plans to combat heat and lead the way by creating solutions.
We have been trying to ensure that poor women get climate-resilient homes. And as a part of that, we have been trying to introduce various roofing technologies to reduce the heat in their homes. So while it makes their quality of life much better, it also increases their economic productivity if you have a home which is resilient to heat stress.
Mahila Housing Trust has worked with thousands of households introducing climate-resilient technologies like reflective roof paint, which successfully reduces interior temperatures by 2 to 6 degrees. Evictions and demolitions plague informal settlements all over the globe.
Governments really often fail to recognize the rights of the urban poor and incorporate them into urban planning.
An eviction incident happened recently in Kenya, in Mukuru, one of Nairobi's largest slums.
Right now, I want to talk about the eviction that has taken place in Kwanjenga, of which A big space has been demolished, whereby more than 14,000 families have been evicted. I asked the people how the notice was, and they said the notice was about the road which is going to be opened in that area.
Over a 2-month period, Kenyans watched as their homes and businesses were demolished to make way for a new toll road that critics claim no one in the slum could afford to use.
I think they have demolished more than 4 villages, and it is not about the road. I think they want to chase the community from this area.
The incident surprised residents as the Kenyan government recently had designated Mukuru as a special planning area where legal upgrading was allowed and community input recognized as critical to improving the settlements. The informal settlement community of Mukuru is fighting back. It wants its voice heard at government level. The government finally announced that Mukuru residents will be given help to rebuild outside of the new highway path, but many are skeptical. What lies ahead for the next generation of informal slum dwellers?
We are going to see massive increases of climate migrants all over the world due to climate extremes that we're facing today. That's just a reality.
And I think that in the next 10 years, informal settlements are going to grow exponentially, mainly because of climatic challenges. And they're also going to grow because the response of our governments will not keep pace with this challenge.
Governments must recognize the skilled leadership that exists in these communities. We need to help empower this leadership through funding locally led adaptation in concert with other planning and development efforts.
But you can't be a development activist and be a pessimist. So we're hoping that we can align with people who produce hard data and evidence that creates foundations for the arguments that we have.
Economists have calculated the value of early investment in slums. Their research indicates that every dollar spent today on resilience adaptation saves $7 at this value every 5 years. Simply put, the longer you wait to climate-proof your home, the more expensive it becomes.
We feel it's time to acknowledge that informal settlements are a reality, and transforming these to become resilient is as important locally as it is globally, and that words are not enough. Action is what is needed.